it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, we're going to learn how to crochet this gorgeous Winter Solstice wrap. This is a elegant wrap made with star motifs, and we finished it with some beautiful tassels. Our yarn has some sparkles in it, and so this is a really kind of elegant, kind of evening sort of wrap. It's very pretty and fancy. The finished wrap is about 54 inches long, so it's long enough to sort of wrap around your shoulders. And then the width is 15 inches wide at its widest point. And then each star is about 5 inches wide at their widest points. And then our tassels are about 4 inches long. So we're going to go through this wrap and learn how to make the motifs. We're going to learn how to join them together. We're going to sort of talk about spacing out your colors and sort of planning out your stars. If you hop on over to the Flux blog, I have a photo of this entire wrap all laid out, so you can see exactly where each star has been placed and joined together. And then finally, we're going to do some finish work and very easily make some tassels, no special tools needed, and they're very quick and easy to make. And we're going to attach those on. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. A tape measure is super helpful if you're measuring as you go along for a specific size. You're going to need a little stitch marker. Now, it doesn't have to be an actual stitch marker. You can use a little scrap piece of yarn if you like as well. And we're going to be using a 6.5 millimeter K crochet hook. This is my Furls hook, and I can put the link down below if you're looking for this hook as well. Now let's talk about the yarn. Basically for this project, I wanted kind of a night sky theme, so I grabbed some grays, black, and some of these have a little bit of like metallic thread through them, which looks sort of sparkly. This is truly one of those like stash busting scrap yarn projects. You don't have to pick these particular colors, and you can kind of make the motifs as you go along and build your wrap as you go, okay? But I used some yarn I had on hand. This is Red Heart with Love in the black, and then this is called Pewter, and then this is called Light Gray. The gray has a silver metallic thread through it, and the black has like a black metallic thread through it. This pewter is just solid. It doesn't have any metallic thread, but it's totally up to you. I just happen to have these colors on hand, and I grabbed them and wanted to use them. And again, you can use any colors you like. The yarn weight, if you want to substitute, this yarn does recommend the 6.5 millimeter K crochet hook, and it is a 4 medium on the yarn weight scale. So if you look for both of those things, a yarn that recommends that K hook and the 4 medium on the yarn weight scale, you'll be just fine. That being said, if you use another yarn weight for that, for this project, just know your motifs might be a little larger or smaller depending on your yarn, and you might need to add more or less depending. So you could use other yarn weights. Just know that you may need to do a little bit different number of the final count of motifs. Okay, so I have one here that I'm working on just to kind of show you how we're going to be constructing this. Now, often when I make these videos for all of you, I will make several of them. So I did start one, and I'm going to make one along with you as well. But I just wanted to show you sort of the shape we're going to be following here. Is we're going to be doing one, it's going to be a stole. A stole is just sort of like a lighter wrap. It's not going to be like a big shawl for warmth. It's just going to sort of be like a strip of stars that you can like kind of drape around you like in an elegant way. So what we're going to do is, now as you can see, this is a work in progress. I have ends everywhere, but we're going to start with one of our 6 pointed stars. Now this is a pattern on the Flux blog that's been around for a while, the 6-point star. I also have a 5-point star too, but the 6-point star, we're going to start with one at one end, and then we're going to start doing the join as you go technique, and we're going to make the first one fully. Then we're going to make the second one, and as we come around, we're going to join it. Then we're going to make the third one, and as we come around, we're going to join it. As you can see, the stars are just joined at their points, okay? So as we build, we're going to kind of follow this pattern where we're going to do one at one end, then we'll do 2 stars, then we'll do 3 stars, then we'll do 2 stars, then we'll do 3 stars, and we're going to keep going until we have this like nice long strip that's long enough to wrap around your body. So if you need yours to be nice and long or a little bit shorter, you can continue this 2, 3, 2, 3 as long as you like for kind of the length part of your shawl, but you'll want to finish by doing 3, 2, 1 at one end like I have here to just kind of bring it to like a nice elegant point. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that just to kind of show you how we're going to be putting this thing together. So we're going to begin by making this first 6-point star to begin the one end, and then I'm going to show you how to join the stars on to this first one. So this is going to kind of be like our foundation kind of base star. So let me scoot this out of the way, and we're going to grab our hook, and we're going to grab one of our yarns. I'm going to grab the same pewter color that I had on our example here. So what we want to do is grab our yarn and our hook, and this star is super easy to make. So you can like in one sitting kind of whip up a few of these, okay? So what you're going to do, and let me just zoom way in so you can see what I'm doing up close here. What we're going to do is we're going to put a slip knot on our hook to start. So wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your hook, bring up a loop, and tighten. Then what we're going to do is chain 4 to make our starting ring that we're going to be working our stitches into. So to make a chain, wrap the yarn around the hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to join in that farthest chain, that first chain we created, to create our ring. Okay, so insert the hook into that farthest chain, bring up a loop, now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. The next thing we need to do is to begin round 1. But I wanted to say before we start round 1, if you prefer the magic ring to begin your star, please feel free to do that. This is your project, and please definitely do it the way you like to do it best. Some people like to start projects with the magic ring instead. Okay, I'm also going to hold this tail along the edge as we work round 1 to weave it in as we go along. So what we want to do for round 1 is chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then, you know what, let me come in just a tiny bit more there. And then what we're going to do is work 2 double crochets into the center of the ring. So to make a double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook, insert it into the center of the ring, bring up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring through the next 2 loops. That's your double crochet, but we need 2, so we're going to work a second one. Okay, and then what we're going to do is chain 1, and then work 3 double crochets into the center of the ring. So 1, 2, and 3, okay? Then what we're going to do is chain 1 once again, and then we need to repeat what we just did, this 3 double crochet, chain 1. We need to do that 4 more times, okay? I just wanted to point out that this chain 4 at the beginning, this chain 3 at the beginning counted as one of the double crochets, so that's actually part of this cluster here. And then we created another one, and they're separated by chain 1s, okay? So then we need to do this 4 more times for a total of 6, because we're making a 6-pointed star, so we're getting that kind of foundation going, okay? So go 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, okay? So that's 3 so far, 3 clusters, and then we're going to do another set of them, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, sliding things over if you need some more space. Sometimes it can get a little crowded. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. We need 2 more. So go 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then our final set here. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Okay, now we need to join with a slip stitch to close the round so we can move on to the next round. So what you want to do is count 3 chains up. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to join in that chain. You might need to sort of drill it in there if it's snug. Join with a slip stitch. So insert the hook, bring up a loop, bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. Now right now it's not going to look like much, but I do like to kind of get my finger in there and sort of separate these groupings so it's easier to see as you work the next round. Also, you can grab your scissors at this point, and I like to get this tail out of the way. So give it this, remember this one we wove in as we went along? Give it a nice strong tug and snip. Okay? And then that tail's out of your way. Okay, round 2, what we're going to do, I'm going to back up just a little bit because our piece is getting a little bit bigger. What we're going to do is slip stitch over to the next chain 1 space. So we closed here and then we have that first set of 3 double crochets. We need to slip stitch over to that first chain 1 space. Our hook isn't quite in the right spot yet. So go work a slip stitch in each stitch across. 1, 2, 3. And here's our space here. You can work it right into that space also. And now we're in the right spot with our hook to begin row 2. Or round 2 rather. So what we're going to do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, this counts as one of the double crochets. Now in this chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, and then this time we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and then in that same space we're going to work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So that's, you should have this little like peak here. Then we're going to hop over to the next chain 1 space. So see your set of 3 double crochets, hop over to that chain 1 space in between, and we're going to go in there and work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, get a little bit more yarn here, chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that same space work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of some star stuff happening here. Okay, now we're going to do this all the way around. So in each one of these chain 1 spaces, we're going to do the same thing. So skip that next cluster of 3 double crochets and go to that chain 1 space and do the same thing. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then work 3 double crochets in that same space. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Skip that next grouping of double crochets, the 3 group here, and then that next chain 1 space, go 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then in that same chain 1 space, work 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, moving right along, things are looking really pretty. Okay, we have another space here we're going to work into. So that next chain 1 space, work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets in that same chain 1 space. 1, 2, and 3. Hop over to that next chain 1 space. This is actually the final chain 1 space, and work 3 double crochet. 1, more yarn here. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 double crochet in that same space. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Then what you're going to do is we're going to join with a slip stitch to close the round. So count 1, 2, 3 chains up. I need to wiggle it in there. Join with a slip stitch like we did before. Okay, we're starting to have some shape. This is a hexagon. It's not quite a star yet, but the next round, the final round, we're going to change this into a star. Okay, so it's going to become a star now. Okay, once again, we need to get into the right spot. Okay, so now we have points. See all these points that we've created all the way around? We're going to be working into those points. Okay, so once again, our hook is not in the right spot. So we need to slip stitch over. So work a slip stitch in each stitch across here. And then I like to work a slip stitch in the space as well, the corner space. Okay, and now we are in the right spot with our hook that we need to be. Now, I didn't mention this before, but some of you might want to change colors. We're sticking with the same color per star for this one. But if you want to change colors per star, instead of slip stitching over, you can simply fasten off, cut the yarn, and then tie the new yarn into the corner space, as opposed to slip stitching over, okay? So for round 3, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to, in the same space, we're going to work 3 double crochet. So that chain 3 we just did counts as a double crochet, as a side note. So we're going to work 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. And then if you need to push things over, that's okay, because we are putting a lot of stitches in here. In that same space, you're going to work 4 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we have our first official star point. Okay, next, to get that wonderful kind of star shape, we need to kind of dip down. So what you're going to do now is, instead of hopping over to the next point, we have a side space as well. So we're going to work a slip stitch into that side space. So in between the 2 points, you have a space here. So insert the hook into that side space, bring up a loop. Now bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, okay? Now hop over to the next corner space, and we're going to do what we did before. We're going to work 4 double crochets. 1, whoops, grab that loop in by accident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 double crochet, and then chain 2. 1, 2, and then in that same space, I like to push things over to give me a little bit more space. Work 4 double crochets all in that same space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, just like that, okay? So now you can see we're starting to get those nice star points, okay? So hop over to the next side space, work a slip stitch, hop over to the next corner space and do the same thing. I'm going to pick up speed a little bit here because we did a few of these already. So 4 double crochet. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 2, 1, 2, and then 4 double crochets all in that same space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Work a slip stitch in the side space, and then work your star point again. So go to that corner space and work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 2. 1, 2, and then go 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? We are making some great progress here with our star. Hop to the next side space, work a slip stitch, and then go to that point space, corner space, and work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and then 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, we're in the home stretch here. Work a slip stitch in the next side space. Work your next point in the corner space. 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and then 4 double crochets in that corner space. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and now to finish, we have one more side space. We're going to slip stitch into that. And then what we're going to do is join with a slip stitch 1, 2, 3 in that third chain up to close the round. Okay, so our star looks awesome. So what you can do too to make it look less flower, more star, is sort of like sharpen up these points. But I will say, as we start adding joins and joining these stars together, you're going to get that will like kind of pull that point up automatically sort of when it connects to another one. Okay, so let's move on to our next star and learn how to join. Okay, so we want to grab our scissors, cut the yarn, and we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook, bring it through the loop, and tighten. Okay, we can worry about the tails later. Okay, so now we're ready to do the second star. We did the first one fully without any joins or anything like that. But the second star, we're going to work rounds 1 and 2. And then when we get to round 3, we're going to rejoin, and I'm going to show you how to do the part where we need to hook it onto our other star. Okay, so in addition to our first motif, our first finished motif that we did, I also worked up 2 more because, let me just scoot some of this out of the way. In the work in progress one that I showed earlier, we have our first one, and I tried to keep the colors similar so it would make more sense. We're going to next work this light gray one and join at these 2 points. And then we're going to this black one over here that I worked up. We're going to join that one because I wanted to show you it's there. So these joins is 1 onto 1, right? But then when you add this third one, you have a 1 on 1 join here. But this join, you're going to join this onto 2. And it's not too much different, but I do want to show you. So we're going to join this motif and this motif next. So like I mentioned, I worked rounds 1 and 2. So when you do round 3, you're also incorporating a join. So grab the piece that you're going to be joining it onto, and we're going to start round 3 like we normally would. So slip stitch over to that first corner space, and we're going to work the first corner in its entirety without any joins, just to keep things less complicated. Okay, so what we want to do is chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then in that space, we're going to work 3 double crochet, 1, 2, let me get a little bit more yarn here, and 3, just starting up round 3 like we normally would, okay? And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then work 4 double crochets right into that same space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Just like that. Then we're going to go and work a slip stitch into the side space, same as regular, And then what we're going to do, if we look at our example piece, our first 2 stars join in 2 spots. So we're going to connect these 2 points to the next 2 points, okay? So what we want to do is work half of our next point. So hop on over to that first corner, or that next corner space rather, and work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So normally we would put chains in between, but because we're joining, we're going to grab our star, and what we're going to do, let me zoom way in so you can see this part up close, is we're going to, and when you work with motifs, there's lots of yarn and things happening, but it's okay. Okay, so grab one of your stars, the first star, and we're going to locate the corner space here, because that's where we're going to join. So with your hook, instead of working the chains, we're going to do a join. So go in from the top here with your hook, reach back and scoop up that yarn, and then we're going to bring that yarn, that loop, through the loop already on your hook. Now come back down to your star and work 4 double crochet, okay, in that same space. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now our stars are joined. Okay, so let's work our second join, because remember, these 2 need to be joined at these 2 points here. Okay, so let me get all situated. Got lots of strands of yarn happening. Okay, so we're going to work the same slip stitch into the side space. That definitely won't change. And then when you come to the next point, work the first 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we're ready for the join. So grab your other star, go in from the top, reach back, scoop up that yarn, bring that loop through the loop already on your hook, and now we can finish that point. Work your 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, whoops, my yarn split a little. Let's redo that one. Sometimes when you have a stitch that's just not cooperating, it's just the best thing just to redo the whole thing. Okay, so 3 double crochet and 4 double crochet. So our star is joined and it looks great, okay? So all you need to do now is finish round 3 of your star as you normally would. No more joins or anything fancy. So work your slip stitch, work your next corners by working 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, get a little bit more yarn here, and 4, chain 2, 1, 2, turn your work as needed, work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then just continue around as you normally would with your star like we've been doing so far. Okay, so we have our first two stars. I'm going to finish round 2 till we get almost to the end. We're going to join together, and then I'm going to grab this next star, because the next star, as you can see, we have some regular joins where we're joining 1 onto 1, and actually let me zoom out so you can see that better. But we're going to be joining 1 star onto 2 stars, okay? So we're going to do that next. And then you'll know as you move along and build up your stars, you'll know how to work all the scenarios, okay? Every scenario you meet as you join each star. Okay, I'm just coming up to the end of the round, and we're going to join with a slip stitch to close the round. So those 2 stars will be complete now. So I'm just going to close that up with a slip stitch. Now you can grab your scissors, cut the yarn, and fasten off. Okay, so just to refresh, we have done our full first star, and then we did a second star, And so we joined one star onto one other star, okay? The last scenario that I would like to show you is the joining one star onto two stars, okay? So let's scoot this out of the way. And what I have here is what we're working on, our example piece. And I've started the black star, so we can kind of replicate what's happening over here. So what I want to do is I'm going to give this center tail a little trim. Now I've started working, rounds 1 and 2. So those are complete. And now I'm ready to move on to round 3 so we can join this on. Okay. So what we need to do once again is slip stitch over to a corner space. So just kind of slip stitch over. And now we're in that corner space, okay? So what I'm going to do is I like to sort of have everything laying on the table. It certainly makes it easier when everything's nice and flat. Okay, so let's begin the new round. We're going to work a full corner before we do any joins. I just find that it's much easier to work the first full corner before you begin. So you're not starting and trying to join at the same time. Okay, so remember we did a chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 2, and then 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going really fast here because we've already seen this a couple times now. Now we're going to work a slip stitch into that side space like we normally would. And now we're ready to make our join. So I'm going to join here to start. And what we want to do is work half of that corner. So work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now instead of doing that chain 2, we're going to add a join here, okay? So remember, actually I'm going to put the ball of yarn back here. Remember, grab the point that you want to join onto. Again, this is really much easier to have this flat on the table. Okay, now grab your star, go into that corner space, go in from the top, reach back and scoop up that yarn and bring that loop through the loop already on your hook. And then you can finish that corner. So work 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So now we're joined. We did 1 onto 1, which is what we've done so far. The next thing we want to do is work a slip stitch into that side space. And now we're coming around and we're ready to join into this area here. So when we get to that point, I'm going to zoom way, way in so you can see what we're doing. But we want to do what we did before and just work half of that corner. So work 4 double crochet. Oops, when you go to make your points, make sure this part's tight or you'll get like some loose loops. So work 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then what we're going to do, let me zoom way in, just get everything set here. There we go. Now, when you look at your corners, you're going to see that you have your little join here. So if you slide that up, you're going to see, if you turn it, that there's a little loop. See how you can see that when you turn it towards you, there's a little loop. We're going to work right into that loop there, okay? So what you want to do is grab your stars rather, and turn it a little bit if you need to, and locate that loop. Now go in from the top of that loop, reach back, scoop up that yarn, and give it a little tightening if you need to, if it's looking a little loose. Now bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook, and then you can complete the rest of your point. Okay? So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, and 4 double crochet. Okay? Then we're going to work a slip stitch into that side space. And then we're ready to join the last spot here, which will be this star point right here. So let me just zoom out a teeny tiny bit here. So once again, work half of your point, 4 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're ready to join. We're just joining into 1 star this time in that corner space like we've been doing. Reach back, scoop up that yarn, and slip stitch it, and then finish off that point, 4 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we're joined with our stars. Then all you have to do is finish your star. Go in that corner and work your corners the same way. So I'm just going to keep going and finish the star as normal. Okay, we're just coming around and we're going to join with a slip stitch to close the round once again. Okay, so then you can cut the yarn, and now you know how to add the stars depending on where you're adding them and how many joins you need to do. I have a little bit more done on this one. So as you can see, we did our first star, then we added the second one, and then we added the third one. So what you're going to do to continue, because we're doing this is kind of like an elegant stole, kind of like a strip that you would like elegantly wrap around yourself. You're going to do the next row with 3, and then 2, and then 3, and then 2, and so forth. So when we come back, we're going to have all the stars joined onto our wrap. But you can also go hop over to the Flux blog if you want more of a visual. I took a picture of the whole thing so you can see exactly where I put each color, and you can have like a photo of it to refer back to if you need to. I also wanted to recommend when you are placing your stars, now I use 3 colors. If you're doing all the same color, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you're doing multiple colors like I did, you want to think about not putting the same color side by side because it'll sort of look like a flood of one color. So you want to kind of mix up the colors and don't let the same color touch, okay? So as you work your stars, just kind of figure that out as well. So when we come back, we're going to look at everything all put together, and we're going to take care of all these ends and do some finish work and add some details onto it as well. So keep going, adding your stars in rows long enough to wrap it elegantly around you, and then we will rejoin in just a moment. Okay, so we have been continuing to add stars. Now remember, our stitch marker was where we began, and we worked our way down, 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 down to the end. And I wanted to just show you, if we look at the starting star and the star where we ended up, I finished on the same star with the same color. So all in all, we had 24 stars. And if you wanted a breakdown of the color, I ended up doing 9 of the light gray, kind of sparkly silver stars, and 6 of this dark gray star, and then 9 of the sparkly black. So let me just show you too, because we're going to weave the ends in next. But we look at our top star with our stitch marker where we began. We started with 1, and then we added 2, and then we did 3, and then we did 2, and then we did 3, and then 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, and then 1 to finish it off. So it has a nice kind of balanced look. And I'm also, if you hop on over to the Flux blog, I have this all laid out so you can kind of get a visual as you're working on your wrap as well if you want to replicate the colors. Now I also was very careful when I was working on my piece not to repeat colors side by side. So if you follow what I did, and again the full photo is on the blog, but if you follow what I did, each star is not touching a color that is the same as it. So all the colors are nice and spread out, and it became sort of like a pattern. As you can see, we have the black that kind of zigzags across. We have our dark gray that sort of travels through the middle. It just sort of worked out that way, and then that travels through the middle, and then we have the sparkly that kind of zigzags as well. So we need to now weave in some ends. So anytime you work with motifs like this, you're going to have lots and lots of ends. It's just one of those things. So let me come in a little bit. Let's flip our stars over. As you worked to make sure that your stars are all facing up, the side that faced you when you made your star. So we're going to flip it over to the back. What we're going to do, I'm just going to grab one of these ends and show you how to do this real quick if you're not familiar. So what we're going to do is just grab any end, and some of them, the center, when we wove the end is in as we went along. Let me see if I can find one. I have trimmed a few of these, but there may still be, oh, here's one here. So grab your scissors. Now that end that you wove in as you went along, just give it a nice firm tug and a little trim, and then you can just discard that. It's already woven in. But down here we have some, like here where I ended my star, where you will have to weave that in yourself, okay? Actually, you know what? Let's use this dark gray star as an example because we can see this a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to take our tapestry needle and thread it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go in the back. We're in the back side of the star here. And we're going to go in one direction. And then we're going to come back in the other direction here. Whoops. Just go in like that. And then grab your scissors and just give it a little snip, okay? So you'll want to repeat that for the rest of your stars. And then when we rejoin, we are going to add some beautiful tassels to the ends of our wrap as well. Okay, all of our ends are woven in and it's just looking fabulous. So the last thing we need to do is add some tassels at either end. We're just going to add like a nice, not too big, not too fluffy, just an elegant kind of tassel. Okay, so let's slide this up. We're going to do one at either end. And the way our star works is it comes to a point. So it'll be a perfect little accent for our wrap, okay? Also, when you put a tassel on a wrap, it adds a little weight to it, so it helps keep it on as well. Okay, so let me just find the end here of this thing. All right, so what we want to do, we're just going to make some quick tassels, no fancy tools needed. So grab your scissors, and you're going to cut two 12-inch pieces of yarn. Set those aside. And then what you're going to do is we're going to take the yarn and wrap it around all 4 fingers. So let the yarn go down the front of your hand, and you're going to go around and around. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So we're just going to do 20 wraps here. Again, it's not going to be like a fluffy tassel. It's going to be kind of long and elegant looking. So let those 2 pieces hang down, and you're going to take one of the strands of yarn that you cut and kind of tuck it up under that bundle that you made. And you're going to tie it at the top. So just tie it and tie it just like that. And then just sort of straighten everything out here. And then you're going to lay your second piece of yarn down like this on your surface and lay it so that it's about a 1/4 of the way down, okay? Then you're going to bring your ends up and tie that nice and snug. Just put a nice little knot in there. Leave these intact because that's how we're going to tie it on. Now, when you make a tassel, usually when you tie that, you'll have a piece that goes straight down and lays nicely, but then you'll have another piece that sort of arcs up. So we're going to grab our tapestry needle and just sort of tuck that back in so it lays nicely like the other strands. So just go up under that band you just created, and you're just going to pull that down. Next, flip your tassel over and grab your scissors, and we're going to just cut all the loops out of the bottom, okay? And I'm going to cut those long pieces too, just to kind of get them out of the way. So you want to get all the loops cut, and then give it a little shake, and then smooth everything out, just like that. And we're just going to cut nice and neat across the bottom, okay? Just get a nice straight line across that bottom. All right, and next we're going to grab our wrap, and we can take this stitch marker off now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tie it into that corner space, that bottommost point. So take one of your strands and pass it through, and then you're just going to tie it. Just give it a couple of strong knots, just like that. And then we don't have to weave this into the star. We can come back down the tassel and it'll blend better anyway. So just thread your tapestry needle again, and then just send it right down the middle. Repeat for the other side, the other tail rather. Just like that. Straighten everything out, and then you can grab your scissors and just cut those two long pieces. And we have a tassel. So next what you'll want to do is go down to the other end and add a tassel to that side as well. Our tassels have been added and everything looks great. So that is how you crochet the Winter Solstice Wrap. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.